What's chirping crickets? This is Kim from Kim Takes On. I'm Kim. Hi. And along with my co-producer, co-pilot, co-aider, and abetter, Terrence the Wonder Duck. Terrence says hello, and he hopes you're all having a terrific week. So, today we're going to talk about a subject that I've actually talked about a little bit before, but I'm going to go into details about one specific part, and that's concerts. Now, a live concert is an amazing experience, or at least it should be. You know, when you go to a concert, you are going to see a band you love, surrounded by people who also love the band, so it should always be a super awesome, fantastic, fantabulous, great time, right? Right? The problem is that's not always so. Now, there's certain things that, you know, they're nobody's fault. They're just the way the universe works that day. You know, you could be having an outdoor concert and all of a sudden it could start pouring rain, or something goes wrong with the equipment or something like that. Nothing that people can point and go, j'accuse. It's just, you know, the way stuff happens sometimes. But for the most part, the things that I'm going to talk about today are things that people could have prevented for one reason or another and didn't. So, today we're talking about the dumbest things that have happened at concerts that I've seen, you've seen, most of us have seen. For the most part, I am not going to be bringing up individual bands because I'm just not, because I don't feel like sitting here and, you know, spitting on everybody's favorite band. I will be bringing up one band by name, and I feel badly about it, but anyway, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to bring up a band every once in a while, because I am. But this is not in any particular order other than the order that I came up with in my sweet little head. You don't want to go in there. It's very dark, and there's cobwebs and mice and stuff in the really dark corners that even I don't know what it is, but I don't mess with that stuff. So, starting off, something that I've seen at a bunch of concerts that is stupid. Idiots with laser pointers. You are watching a band, not a bunch of cats. Because cats seem to be the only people that are really interested in laser pointers. One of the best video moments I've ever seen was Paul Stanley from Kiss completely tearing apart some nitwit that had shown up at a Kiss concert with a laser pointer and decided to shine it at the stage in people's eyes. This is stupid. This is dumb. This shows that you haven't mentally grown up since about the age of 12, and you think that you're the main character in the story tonight. You're not. Spoiler alert, you're not. Okay. So, idiots with laser pointers. Now we move on to something that I have a deep, deep hatred about. Drunks. Now, before anybody goes, oh, here we go, we're going to get some temperance lecture from somebody with purple hair that carries around a rubber duck. No, I'm not going to give a temperance lecture. I'm not saying that when you go to a concert or when you go out or when you whatever, if you'd like to have a drink or two, as long as you're not driving, go for it. And you're of legal age to drink, because I'm not going to be responsible for any underage drinking. Forget that. But the problem is, yes, for some people, drinking is fine. They have one or two drinks to socialize, you know, to relax, stuff like that. I have no problem with that. I think that that's fine. It's one of the perks of being an adult. But when you are trying to enjoy a concert that you spent probably quite a bit of money for the seats of said, and the person next to you is some drunk son of an unnamed goat that is, you know, loud, obnoxious, possibly unable to control some of their bodily functions, like puke, ew, or whatever, that's when I start hearing my inner kaiju, and he starts telling me things that I know I'd really like to do, but I can't. because, you know, it's kind of bad to like pick up somebody, pick up a chair and waffle somebody with it, in spite of what the WWE tells you. And they always say, don't try this at home. And that's one of the things. Don't pick up a chair and hit somebody with them as much as you want to, because they're being a drunk fork. I can't say the other word. I have to use, I'm allowed to say it once in a while, but only very sparingly. I have dealt with people who drink too much in my own personal life, which might also be the way I get a little bit testy about this. But I hate drunk people. I hate being around people who are drunks. I will leave if I can. But when it's a concert, no, I'm not leaving. I'm going to sit there and enjoy the show. But if you're making it hard for me to enjoy the show because you're being a drunk idiot, we're going to have a problem. I mean, I know I don't look like the type that would cause a problem. Do I? Do I, Terrence? Do I look like the type that would cause a problem? Well, yeah, I know you know that, but I'm trying to act, sweet and innocent for them. Oh, I think some of them are buying it. Terrence thinks none of y'all are buying that. Wise ass duck. Moving forward. On to the next thing that can mess up a show. Stage crashers. Now, I'm not saying that when you go to a show, you should sit there with your hands folded in your lap and, applaud like this and be super quiet and stuff like that, unless you're like at the orchestra or something. In which case, I probably shouldn't have to tell you how to act because you're probably, a grown-up. But, when you're at a rock concert or whatever, yeah, you're going to get raucous and it's going to be fun and there's going to be beach balls thrown around and stuff like that. And it's all crazy and fun. However, you are not the main character. And you deciding to jump on stage and dance around or do whatever is not only dumb, it's dangerous. The show is probably going to get stopped. You are probably going to get jumped on by security, who probably will not be gentle with you. And you might actually wind up in the back of a police car, depending on what you did when you jumped on stage. If you just jumped on stage like, woo, I'm on stage, nothing terrible might happen to you, but I ain't promising that. If you actually touch somebody, you could get in way more trouble than that's worth. And now you have a building, concert hall, venue, park, wherever the show is, and everybody's looking at you and going, what an absolute douchebag. Do you really want that? Do you think your parents want to see that? Do you think your friends are going to act like they know you? No. You're not the main character at that point. Just enjoy the show. Don't be a douche. All right. This one might actually go back to the alcohol thing. People who start fights. And I don't mean people who start fights with security, although that's bad too. You shouldn't do that. The security guys are there and they're doing their job. And I know you feel like they're harshing your mellow or whatever, but they're doing their job. They're trying to keep the band safe and they're trying to keep you safe. So fighting with the security guards is a bad idea. Fighting with your fellow fans is an even worse idea. Again, I think sometimes this comes down to alcohol because some people wind up thinking that they're, the size of Andre the Giant when they drink, when they're more the size of... I'm not insulting you. I know you can kick butt when you have to. Terrence has a black belt in duck foo. He wants you all to know that. Crouching duck, hidden dragon. Anyway, but if you get in a fight with a total stranger, for one thing, that shows you have staggering anger issues. For another thing, you might wind up in a fight with somebody who you find out entirely too late may be maybe someone that actually does know martial arts, or might be a UFC fighter, or might just have had one bad day. And they might really, 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 really tack 75 more reallys on there. F you right the F up. Is it worth it going to is it worth it going to a concert and then spending your night in the emergency room? No. The answer to that question is no. Also, people who throw things at the band. These people mystify me to absolute... What? I would never throw you at anybody. Even Shania Twain. He wants me to throw him at Shania Twain. Actually, he wants me to present him to Shania Twain on a little silver platter. Look, I know you love Shania, but you have to quit this. It's getting weird. Anyway, that was all a joke. Don't anybody worry about Shania. Hi, Shania. Hope you're doing great. Anyway, but people who throw things at bands, I don't get this. You're there. Now, I know I shouldn't assume this, and we all know what happens when you assume blah, 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 whatever, the thing your English teacher told you all them years back. I know mine did. But I would be under the notion that if you spent money or you accepted somebody's offer to go see a band, that this is a band that you want to see. If there's someone you never heard of, you might be going under a curiosity factor, but whatever, this is someplace you want to be tonight. So why in the name of Kermit the Frog, you're going to stand there and go, you know what, this place needs more thrown objects, and throw your phone, or throw rocks, or throw your shoes. All three of which I have seen happen at videos of concerts. Throwing your phone, your actual phone. Good luck if you're a younger person. Good luck to mom and dad when you go home and are like, yeah, I need a new phone, mom and dad, because I threw mine at somebody at a concert. I don't think your parents are going to be real happy with you. Throwing rocks. I'm sorry. Isn't that assault? Didn't we used to call that assault? Oh, no, wait, we still do. Because throwing rocks could literally kill somebody. I mean, I know we're not talking about somebody hucking an enormous boulder or something like that. But if you hit somebody in the head with a rock, you could blind them. You could conceivably kill them. It's craziness. And shoes. I have seen people in videos throwing shoes at bands for whatever reason. And I don't get it. They're shoes. They're your shoes. I mean, if you're throwing somebody else's shoes at people, I can't help you. You're beyond gone. I don't know where you are, but you're definitely somewhere I don't want to go. But if you're throwing your shoe, just a shoe. I usually say with just a shoe come flying, and then other shoes, because somebody acts like an idiot, and then everybody else goes, ooh, I'm going to act like an idiot too, Chuck. I'm like, what? You see these people yeeting their shoes, and I'm like, you have to walk home, or you have to walk to the train station, or whatever, or wherever you are. You're going to walk there with one shoe? Or no shoes if you throw both of them? Do you carry around extra shoes in case you just decide you have to yeet a shoe to show displeasure? In which case, if you do that, you need to talk to somebody. You need to really talk to somebody. I mean, I remember when I was much, much younger, and he was much younger. I remember hearing about Tom Jones, and like the women used to throw their undergarments on stage. ew. I thought ew back then. I still think ew now. I mean, it's one thing if you toss a scrap of paper that has your phone number on it, unless you're right at the edge of the stage, good luck at getting anywhere. But when you throw stuff that can actually cause damage, you're a moron. You are a 14-karat double-dipped ass clown is what you are. People who are on their phones the entire show. This is a part of society that I can't stand. And I know some people are going to go, well, you're old. You don't get it because you're old. I prefer to think of myself as vintage. Thank you. But I understand that having a phone that you can record an entire concert on, or at least like a really important song to you or whatever, that's really neat. I understand that. It's very cool, and I can understand the temptation. Resist it. You're annoying the people around you. They paid the same amount of money you did. They do not want to watch the back of your head and your arms holding up your phone all night. They don't want that. You're better than that. Don't do that. Next, Guns N' Roses. Just Guns N' Roses. That's it. And I feel bad about saying that because I am a Guns N' Roses fan. Yes, Terrence, I know we're not going to talk about Chinese democracy. Thank you. But Guns N' Roses, for the longest time, had a pretty bad reputation when it came to concerts. I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan, like I mentioned, and I've never been to one of their shows because usually I have to do something the next day and don't want to wait around till like 4 a.m. All right, that was a little bit much, but I mean, let's be fair. You know, back in the day, Axl Rose had a problem with showing up for concerts on time. Sometimes. And I don't mean by like 10 or 20 minutes. I mean by like an hour or more. And then there was July 2nd, 1991 in Missouri, where Axl happened to notice a fan with a camera or a video camera. I'm not sure which. I've heard different things. And he was directing the security to take the camera away from the fan. When that didn't happen fast enough, Axl launched himself onto the stage, onto the fan, and hostilities ensued. Axl climbed back up on the stage, said, thanks to the shitty security, I'm going home, slammed the microphone to the ground, and walked off stage. And things from there took a bad turn. I mean, you'd like to think everybody just went, oh, and went home. No. The crowd proceeded to lose its ever-loving mind. Now, I do understand. I can completely understand and sympathize. But when you start breaking the arena up and beating people up, that I don't understand. You're not hurting the band when you're doing that. You're hurting yourselves and other people and the arena. A lot of people went to the hospital that night. A lot of people went to jail that night. And it was just a freaking mess. Guns N' Roses have had other problems ever since, here and there and everywhere. There was an issue in Canada where the act before them was Metallica, and they had a little bit of a problem with their pyro, i.e. James Hetfield almost burned to death on stage, pretty much. And Guns N' Roses could have been the heroes and gone out there early and said, well, we're going to give you guys a huge show, and rocked out and stuff like that. And maybe in an alternate universe that happened. Didn't happen here. Axl was like, I got a sore throat. I'm not going. I think they played like a couple of songs and then he split. Or I'm actually not even sure if they played anything, but it was definitely, we're not doing this. And the crowd proceeded to lose its mind, and a lot of stores got wrecked in the area. Anybody who says, oh, Canadians are all so sweet and polite and blah, blah, blah. Not that night, they weren't. And I get it. I get being angry. I get being upset. But that was uncalled for. That was some uncalled for stuff. Okay. Now, I've mentioned before that I don't really enjoy being around people who are obnoxiously drunk or obnoxiously high. If you're impaired, be quiet about it. Don't let the rest of us have to deal with your crap. What's worse than being stuck next to a fan who's impaired? Watching the stage and realizing, oh my gosh, fill in the blank is so wasted, they can't perform. This can be anything from, this is so stupidly sad, it's kind of funny, to this is just plain tragic. When you see someone that can't remember the words to a song, or someone who's just stumbling around on stage and going off on tangents and pointing out people in the audience and accusing them of things that they absolutely had nothing to do with, or fighting other members of the band. And yes, I have seen video of all of these things. I know being in a band is not a 9-to-5 job. I get that. And I understand, you know, it's the rock and roll life, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and all that stuff like that. I'm down with two of those things. Not on stage, though, at least one of them, okay? But a lot of people paid money and took time out of their day to be like, hey, I want to go hear this band. For you to show up and give people a crappy show because you couldn't hold your shit together until after the show, that's selfish, is what that is. That's just friggin' selfish. Okay. Another thing that bugs me about concerts, these are two things that go hand in hand, actually. One's one side and one's the other side. People who take the mosh pit too seriously. It's a mosh pit, and it's supposed to be crazy, and it's supposed to be nuts, and it's supposed to be somewhere where you expend all of your energy and you run around and you toss people in the air, but you make sure you catch them. A mosh pit is not the place to just start arbitrarily punching people. It is not the place to grope people. It is not the place to decide you're going to show how much of an alpha male you are or an alpha female. Don't do it. It's not necessary. The other side of that is people who don't take the mosh pit seriously enough. They just think, ooh, it's the mosh pit. I'll just run in and run around for a minute and have fun. It depends on what kind of show you're at. Read the room. If you're at a show where you see the mosh pit is really moshing, like people are jumping in the air and people are running in circles so fast you're trying to figure out, what's going on. No, don't do it. Kind of go off to the side, maybe just kind of hang on the edges of the pit just so that you don't get pulled into the center and you're like screaming to get out. And not every mosh pit has to be some serious, it doesn't have to be a serious event. You're at a concert. It's supposed to be fun. I mean, I've seen people having mosh pits where people are like riding around on, they're riding around on bathtub, like bath mats or things like that, or mattresses. I've seen video of an entire bunch of people in a mosh pit all wearing Pikachu costumes. So awesome. So absolutely awesome. And the last thing I want to bring up is something that's been in the news the last about the last month or so. It doesn't really happen a lot at concerts from what I've seen, but if you even think about doing this, Terrence is judging you, and I'm judging you. People who grab things from other fans. Somebody catches a t-shirt, somebody catches a guitar pick, something like that, and somebody else tries to take it from them. No. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Just don't. I mean, I've been to weddings where I've seen people almost body slam each other to get the bouquet, and I'm just like, no, I'm out of this. I mean, I cannot picture grabbing something out of somebody else's hand when they caught it, or when it was handed to them, or something like that. I can't picture that because, well, I was raised right. So, those are my list of stupid stuff that happens at concerts that I wanted to talk about. Are there any things that you've seen firsthand that you're like, wow, you're a complete asshole? PlatinumRosale@yahoo.com. Tell me about it. Tell me your story, and we'll have a laugh together. I hope that you like this video. I hope that you do all the stuff that's going to come on the screen, because TC's the computer whiz in the family and I'm just the cute one. I'm the human cute one. Terrence is the cute one of the duck population. Was that enough? Was that all right? And we both hope, Terrence and I, hope that everybody has an amazing week out there. And if you're going to a concert this week, have a great time. You're there for the music. We should all be there for the music, because music is magic, or at least it should be. So, this is Kim for another week here on Kim Takes On with my co-host, Terrence the Wonder Duck. Saying love the ones you hug the ones you love, and keep rocking.